This episode will contain depictions of drug use. Listener discretion is advised. The notebook was found by one of the dockhands of Wishmaker's Isle. That dockhand was shortly teleported directly into the cannon to the moon and shot into space, where he was never seen again. The young Wishmaker flipped through the empty pages of the notebook and scowled. He threw the notebook down and out into the waves where it sank deep into the dark depths of bark and twig. He couldn't risk putting the dock on high alert, but now there was only time. Time between this moment and the start of the race. Time that he thought was truly drawing itself out. You guys have moved away. You're repaired.
Yeah, and once he's good, I'm headed back to the Morca.
I want to make sure, where are you going to go? Are you guys going to stick together, or are you going to go off and try to find intel?
What would you like to do with the rest of your day, Cybin?
I'm going to try and help our stowaway find out who they are.
I think I'll try to help and find out who she killed was. Maybe.
Well, good luck, Metal Hip.
Thanks.
Perfect. You go off. Cybin, you go back to the ship. Nobody's there. It's normal. Everything's fine. Hank is somewhere buried deep in there, but he's keeping to his business.
Is the muffled sounds of Venick?
Yeah, the muffled sounds of Venick, I think, have subsided. And definitely, you put your hand on the wall of Morca, and you try to sense where Venick is, and he feels like he's struggling very tirelessly, but he hasn't made any progress. Trying to figure out where he is. You know that he's
tuckered out.
He is getting there. But yeah, you go down to the ship. What do you do?
So I'm going to grab a couple more fruits. I don't know how much whispers eat. Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to have like a couple grapes because we have a grapevine around the tree and like an orange. And I'm going to head down to the lower sphincter where she is.
Gotcha.
And I'm going to open it up, see how they're doing.
You see that she's sitting on the floor cross-legged, facing away from the door. It looks like she's meditating.
Do you need a hand with that?
She doesn't respond.
I will go into the room, close it behind me tight, and just kind of sit and behind her and watch. And
you hear when you walk into the room, before you close the door and before you sit down, you hear that she says, "It's best for me to be alone right now."
I believe I could help you with that.
She turns her head. She says, "How?"
And I'm going to close it tight.
Okay.
Just so nothing escapes in case. It will get hard to breathe in here in about 10 minutes, but we'll worry about that then. I am a very specific type of gal. I have an ability to help people experience things. And if you would like, I could share that gift with you.
She's fully turned around. She's still sitting in a cross-legged position, but she's looking at you intently. Her eyes are very dark.
My legs cannot cross like that, because if you remember correctly, my knees are the opposite direction.
They are the opposite
So
direction.
I will like chicken sit down to try and like
Disgusting.
join the...
It's the robot from
Yeah.
RoboCop.
Cybin, I know very well what you're made of.
That makes one of us. But I imagine if you told me, you might tell others.
She looks at you. She's very concerned. There's this knowing on her face of what you're talking about. But she's not in conflict with you. She's listening.
My properties have helped others go on journeys of self-actualization. And for a while, they helped me as well. If you would like to experience this, it's very minimal pain to me.
Do you remember Theodore?
Do I remember Theodore?
Make a pool.
All right. Do Tides, I guess, is remembering shit? Or I can't remember exactly
Tides
what
is
they are.
lore, yeah.
Yeah, so Tides is lore. And delve into my past. No, I'm just kidding.
That is a good use of the word. Hold on. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
Delve into my past.
Delve. Because delve is specifically explore ruins, bypass locks, traps, identify the past.
Oh, it is identify the past. Yeah. I was doing it as a bit.
No, it works.
So we got a 4.
We have a 4, which is conflict. She says the name Theodore out loud. And at first it's an empty name. It doesn't mean anything to you. But there's this glimpse. I think you feel that name on your lips. And the hard like the hard TH, I think activates like this deep feeling within you.
Theodore.
You hear people saying that name to you. You have memories that you've pushed down.
Mm-hmm.
But then you feel those memories fade away, disintegrate, as if it was just kind of like an imagination. You were imagining things, and that feeling disappears.
There is something odd about that name.
That worries me.
What worries you?
That you think there's something odd about that name.
What troubles you about that? Relax. I do not believe your whispers can escape here. We are completely closed off.
I know they can.
Oh.
But I understand that you're trying to help. I'm worried that your kind of help won't fix this. Or maybe fix it too well.
But don't you need to understand in order to fix?
She gives a deep sigh and she says, "You're right."
And if you know what I am and what I can do, I can assure you this one will have I will put no effort into this. This is all for you, not me affecting you.
You promise?
I do.
Okay. She opens up and you see more clearly the aura kind of like orbiting around her. And it feels like a long tendril dragon, like a worm.
That's so cool.
Kind of like chasing a butterfly around her. That's what it looks like. And she opens herself up.
I believe I too am starting to understand you. I'm going to run out of marks. I'm going to do a full spore with the hallucinogenic properties in it. So the entire room will be contained with that, but I'm putting no effort into like the cordyceps aspect of it. Mm-hmm. So it's just going to be essentially psilocybin floating in the air.
Could you read off, because this is our first time playing.
Yes. Okay. This is our first time doing this mechanic. We've worked on how this mechanic works. Yes. So I am by nature naturally hallucinogenic.
Yes.
That is one of the properties I chose at character creation. And it means that the shottings from me have mildly psychotropic properties. We just talked about it being psilocybin, hence the name. Mm-hmm. And my spore sacs essentially are a dense cloud that makes sight impossible through it. So it's essentially in this small room we're in, which I imagine as like maybe 10 by 10.
Yeah.
Maybe. And everything now is essentially hallucinogenic spores.
Yes. Yes.
And I, at this point, am probably going to join them on said journey, but I am putting no effort to affect the other person in it. This is going to be fully their journey and their understanding of their one day of life.
Cool. All right.
So, Mr. Facilier shaking the hands of the. Are you ready?
Are you ready? Let us make a roll for that.
Okay.
Make a pool.
All right. So, First of all, it's going to be the spore sacs being used and the hallucinogenic being used. So that's 2 dice from that.
Are those your aspects?
Yes, these are aspects that I am not burning, but I am marking in order to make this happen.
So when you use your aspects, you don't gain dice.
Oh, okay.
It just happens. I know we've run into this a few times.
We have.
But yeah, when you use an aspect, it doesn't give you any kind of advantage. The only things that add to your dice pool are your edges, your skills, your languages, and your resources.
Copy you. Okay. So I'm going to say at this point,
explain it to me.
It worked hilariously with my joke on Delve, but this one I'm thinking tides maybe, because we're about to go through it.
Okay.
And either wave walk or sense.
I guess, what are you trying to achieve through this release of spores? Because there's a part of it where...
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
The spores are being released for her,
right.
But since I am also in this small area,
right.
I'm going to be caught up in it as well.
Right. What is the goal that you're trying to help her with? How are you?
I want her to understand herself and her place in the world, which I don't think she fully does.
Okay.
So I am giving her the opportunity to essentially expand her horizons outside of the Wishmaker's intent.
Neat.
So that she may find what she needs to self-better.
All right. Cool.
That's the goal I have here.
Gotcha. For those uncomfortable with drug use, you may skip to time code 1436, where we'll be able to skip through this. But yeah, we're about to go on a small little journey.
This is a small little journey.
So you want to use tides. I think that's appropriate. And wave walk.
I mean, wave walk is funny to me because that's going through whatever journey we're about to go on. But if that's not how it is, I think sense would work.
Brachiate, swing, navigate the wilds.
I think we're navigating the wilds.
We're navigating the wilds.
God damn it.
This is going to have a high impact.
Okay.
Because we've contained it in such a tight space.
Okay. Oops, all 4s.
That's a lot of 4s, dude. 3 4s and a 3. Okay.
And what does essentially marking these do to bonuses? Like,
so what it does is just you do it. Narratively, that happens.
I do also, just as a joke, because we're doing wave walk, my wave walk conflicts count as triumphs.
Whoa!
Which is a thing.
That's huge. This is a triumph then, dude. That's wild. You did it.
You're playing the game now.
There you are, Peter.
Oh, nope, never mind. Specifically in waves without ships. We're technically in a ship.
Get fucked.
Get fucked, me.
Are you in a ship?
Wait, what is that? I want to look this up because I may just make a...
Minus sea legs is the ability.
Well,
I
just think for the bit, it's pretty funny.
I think we're going to use it. I think we're going to use your aspect. We're going to treat this conflict as a triumph because I think this is truly navigating the sea.
Okay, perfect.
I really like the narrative aspect of it that I'm saying it's going to go. You have this crazy image appear in front of you. I think you do this naturally enough where you're I think you're always kind of a little microdosing.
100%, 1,000%.
And so kind of doing a big dose like this, you're kind of able to just kind of like, whoa. So you feel in tune with everything all of a sudden because you're sitting in Morca. I'm
in my home.
You're in your home, but you're also in another living, breathing friend. And so when you feel the walls, you feel everything connected, you feel very grounded where you're at. And I think you having that very positive energy in this small space, you reflect that outwards. Eve looks to you and you see the image of that like blue spectral dragon chasing that butterfly. And you see the butterfly transform into a small bird. And that small bird then becomes a bigger animal. It starts to become a giant black bird. And you start to see that black bird like fly quicker, fly stronger.
Get a little space from the dragon.
Yeah. But then it eventually kind of starts to catch up, and it almost seems like the bird is chasing the dragon to a certain degree. But they're both chasing.
So you're saying in the trip you got to chase the dragon?
Always, dude. Always. But you kind of see that visualization. How much of that is you, how much that is her, you're not quite sure. But I think we're going to mark 2 tracks.
Let's go!
On this.
whoa!
Let's go!
Because it was high impact. And part of high impact means that we get to mark.
I will have to, after 10 minutes, open the sphincter for a minute to let in air and then let it back out.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to leave you in this moment where you're just kind of sitting.
Yeah, 100%.
And there's a twist to this, right? Because
There is a twist.
Oh, shit, there's a
or three
twist.
fours.
Yeah, there were 3 4s. What's the twist?
One more track mark.
Twist.
I
You go.
I was gonna say, because this is a journey in opening herself up, what if she intercepted a whisper she wasn't supposed to?
Ooh.
Oh.
Ooh. Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
I love that.
That is exactly. Yes. That happens.
That's incredible. That's such a good one.
Give Joe resources.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Or now with his pants full of shit, Captain Jarvis.
Leave him alone, man.
He's already dead.
Attacked us first, Joe. He deserves it.
So one or the other. I'll let you guys decide.
I'll let you guys decide.
I'm choosing
Either this
intercepts or-
incredible narrative moment.
Could I throw out one for you? Just
Yeah.
to make it a little difficult.
Yeah. What do you got?
We have this muck crow and we have a dragon.
Yeah.
And Cybin swears he sees a third thing.
Oh, they're both good.
If I could choose all of these things.
There were 3 fours.
Technically, Venick is also high in this moment.
There's a muck,
Consider the ventilation.
Yeah, he's in the air. He's in the
muck crow and a dragon.
We're going to cut
And then
away.
just Venick's-
Yeah. Venick peeks his head out. I was like, I finally found a way. Ah!
And then he gets lost up in.
No. No.
I know that
That
doesn't.
doesn't happen. No, I think I'm going to do Eve intercepts a whisper. But I think I'll choose both. I want both to happen. I think Eve intercepts a whisper, and I'll give you that.
And we got 3 of a kind.
And yeah, there's
it was like 2 doubles.
Yeah. And Jarvis shits him.
And Jarvis.
Again.
What a great idea. Thank you, Dylan.
You're so welcome.
He's got nothing left, man.
He's running on empty, guys.
Guys, he can't do that.
He hasn't eaten in a while.
He's been eating. Yeah.
He's been eaten. So yeah, you see a third figure appear in this chase. You can't make it out.
Okay.
And then Eve intercepts a whisper, and she says it out loud. And I think you're gonna she gives it to you so clearly, and I think you're going to get this whisper of 25 ships.
Oh. How many ships were in the race?
50. 25 ships. Gone.
Oh.
That's the whisper that you get.
Oh.
25 ships gone.
Well, that trip changed.
Who am I going to go with?
Doesn't matter.
Sam,
Yes.
you're with the boxes.
Yes.
The fizzling just stopped.
And then I got an idea.
Okay. I hate
A
this.
terrible idea.
Scares me immediately. Yes.
A wonderful, horrible, terrible idea.
What are you going to do?
Luca feels the strongest urge to knock over one of the boxes and run. Run back to where he came from.
Neat.
Agent of Chaos.
Okay.
So, and this is just like,
Can I talk to you about this?
yes.
Okay.
About to ruin a lot of my game here. If you
No. That's not it. Yeah, I want you to ruin my game. I really do. From the context clues of what you've been given,
You're gonna die.
there's something that, when disturbed, creates an alarming noise. Freshly sealed boxes underneath the ship, specifically a ship that is known for very dangerous feats.
Do it.
Is this something that you truly believe that Luca wants to do?
This is something that Luca felt come to himself in a moment, but Luca doesn't know why he wants to do it. Can I roll to see if he goes through with it?
This does feel like an impulse.
Yes.
How would you control an impulse? How would Luca control an impulse?
Luca would control an impulse by putting on his headphones and listening to some music.
Okay, let us roll to try to control this impulse.
Okay.
And if it doesn't, then we will totally work out this scene.
Jimmy, play Highway to Hell.
I'm going to do... Should I do instinct and sense or instinct and sway? It's the same roll either way, but what makes...
I think sway sounds good for you. I mean, what do you think? This is definitely
I think
character.
you're trying to convince yourself not to do something.
Yeah, so sway works.
Okay, gotcha. And we're just going to see how this turns out. This is me giving you an opportunity.
What's good?
All
3 6s?
That's 3 6s. The dice do not want bad things to happen to you today.
No, yeah.
The dice say do it.
3 6s. Yeah, kind.
Do it. You can't die. You're immortal. It's 3 6s.
I think you feel your conscience speak up, and your self-preservation speak up of going like, hey, what are you thinking of doing? So I think you're able to stop yourself. You know with a discrete certainty that what you wanted to do, maybe knocking over a box, would not be a good idea. You can further investigate, though. In fact, with 3 6s, what is the twist that happens?
The goodest twist?
The goodest twist.
I mean, it's up to you guys if it's a goodest twist or...
The twist is he realizes maybe he should just take one bottle and then throw it to the ship while he's outside of it.
He doesn't know what's in the box yet. He hasn't
He's heard
opened the
rattling.
box.
He heard rattling. Got it.
He heard rattling.
It's rattling and fizzing, so
Yeah.
the Pop Rocks almost fell into the soda.
This is true. This can totally be like a narrative thing where we just gift Luca something right now. Like, you guys can truly give him anything. I think with 3 6s, anything that could serve Luca in this instant, you guys can totally gift him like this.
Can he have found one crate that was slightly more open and taken the thing from it?
Absolutely. You're able to calm yourself, and you find a box that's actually open. You literally just turn a little to the left and go, oh, there it is.
There it is.
And inside, you see these giant glass orbs, like these gigantic, almost the size of your head, like bottles. And they're filled with this like really dark red potion that you can't quite make out. I think, I'll just give it to you. You rolled so well, I think you're able to determine that this liquid is like a corrosive explosion liquid. You know this to be a specially concocted agent for explosions, like demolition style explosions. You know that any large movements here could potentially like set it off. Like even just a stiff breeze could make one of these bottles ignite if the liquid was exposed. So you know that you're dealing with very, very delicate bombs.
Oh no. This, I don't... And then I just turn to run back from where I came from because I'm going to go try to find these guys and say, hey, they have bombs.
As you turn around, you hear footsteps coming down the gangway that you're currently on. And you can see, but they can't see you. There's this large Ectus crew member. He doesn't look like one of the dock workers. Dressed more like one of the normal sailors. You can't identify him, but you see them walking down towards you. They haven't made you out.
Okay, so they're coming towards me?
Yes. And again, dense brushes all around you.
From where I am, can I try to jump and grab onto the brush?
You want to go into the thrash?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you can absolutely do that.
No, I'm going to try to jump from where I am into the thrash as close to the tree as I can get.
Oh, close to the tree. So you're on the outer skirt.
Okay, so I'd have to kind of...
You'd have to run past this person to get to the tree.
Okay. How big are the crate? There's these crates here, but are they
Crates
like...
come up to your chest.
Okay, so...
They're pretty big.
From where I am, I'm going to try to go back and hide and try to wait for him to come up one way and cross the other way past him back to the dock.
Okay. Gotcha. Go ahead and roll a hide. Try to sneak your way out of this.
All right. Grace and Vault.
Grace and Vault.
That work?
Vault is climb, leap, dodge, or tumble.
I do have Outwit.
Because that is sneak, infiltrate, and deceive.
Okay, so would it be Grace and Outwit? Or Sharps and Outwit? Or?
I'd say Grace and Outwit.
Grace and Outwit?
Because Sharps and Outwit is Michael's thing. That's not yours.
Yes.
And I'll make this have a high impact because he hasn't seen you yet.
You sure can't outwit those sphincters.
Yeah. He's doing it.
6?
Hey, high roller. 64.
Not punished today.
I love you, little dice. You're my favorite.
That was 2 dice, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was only 2 dice.
Shit, dude. Yeah, you're able to hide effectively. In fact, you're able to kind of wait, and this dude basically walks past you behind this pack of crates and doesn't even notice you. So now you have full path to just book it out of here.
And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to book it and just try to go straight back to the stairway I came, or the scaffolding that I came up in.
Cool. Got you. You run down the gangway. The dude doesn't notice you. And you are able to get up to... I'm just going to roll a d6 and see what happens. That is a 1. I think...
It's bad for someone.
As you're running towards the place that you came into, one of the exits, you're stopped in your tracks as you see one of the actual dock workers coming down the stairway that you first came up of. So your exit's blocked. You know this to be the only entrance as far as you know. What do you do?
I think now that I'm on, because I'm on like the proper dock now, right? The one that is close to the tree, or like the
the ring,
the ring that leads to
not a gangway, but the actual.
I'm going to try to jump grab onto the tree if I can, and because my wings are black, I'm going to just cover myself as much as possible with them to try to hide against the trunk in the darkness.
Okay, again, a wall of foliage.
Yeah, or jump onto.
You jump into the foliage and you start to wave walk towards the tree. Absolutely. Go ahead and give me a wave walk.
I do not have wave walk.
Oh, that's what you're doing. So
One die.
So what edge are you going to use? Or what skill would you be using, I guess?
I would be using grace because I'm trying...
Okay. Using agility.
Yeah.
And do you have any skills that you think would help you here?
Don't have wave walk. Maybe vault?
I think vault is good. Climb, leap, dodge, tumble. Yeah, go ahead and roll a vault.
And am I cutting dice for this at all because it's not wave walk? Okay. 4, so mixed success.
There's a conflict. You jump into the leaves, and you're able to dodge out of sight very effectively. The dude doesn't notice you, but you kind of jump over the railing into the branches, and your hand slips. You start falling deeper and deeper into the waves below the thrash.
No.
And as you do, your trajectory is towards the tree. Like you left with enough momentum that you're able to eventually find the big giant redwood tree that makes up Wishmaker's Isle, the tall shank, and you're able to grab yourself onto the bark of this tree. You are now about 30, 50 feet beneath the gangway. It is pure darkness, and you hear critters and other things really moving deep down here. Again,
Morca?
It is wall-to-wall branches and foliage, and you're just clinging on to the side of this redwood tree. We're going to go over to Reverend Rise.
It's me!
All right, so Rise, you are out on the docks. You're trying to find a solution for our friend Eve.
Now, I know when last we had played this, this was we would go under docks or we would go to the party. Is the party still an option available?
Yes, I think the party is not for a while.
Okay. So we have a little
I'm
bit
still
more
on
leeway this time.
I'm still on a 2 to 3 hour trip, so
Yeah, he's gonna need some time. But you do have time right now. I think it is getting later in the day, where you are starting to see a lot of the captains either retire to their ship or getting ready to have this big boisterous ball that the Wishmakers throw before the race starts.
I mean, I have a friend in Dandalay, right?
Yeah,
And
you've made a lot of friends
I
today.
made some friends.
Yeah.
I make friends.
Well, I have someone who's going to be sad when he has to kill me, so...
Also friends.
I am.
Yes.
That's technically a friend.
That is technically a friend. On paper, that's a friend.
Man, the bar is just so low these days.
Very low.
I'm trying to think if it's more beneficial to strengthen ties that I already have or keep gathering new ties.
I think the allies that you've made today are as strong as they're going to get.
Okay.
You've promised as much as you can, and you've been as much as a friend as you can to
Okay.
people. I guess the question is, do you want to tackle this track that we have here? Is there any other things that you want to investigate?
Yes. Let's do this then.
Yeah.
let's investigate the knife.
Okay. Because you were given the knife, yes.
Yes.
Interesting. Yeah, you look at this knife, and it looks like any normal knife. It's normal knife for the Wildsea, where it's all salvage. So the handle is made of like this hardened wood. There's some leather around it, and it looks like a broken piece of metal that's just been sharpened into a point. There's nothing discernible about it. You can give me a check on it to see if there's like any history there. You can try to observe something that's hidden. Anything that you want. Any skills that you have.
Okay.
Knife.
That's not a knife.
This is a knife.
Tides is explore lore, right?
Exploration, learning, and lore, yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, tides.
Tides is those pods kids was eating.
Yeah, it was tides. What about tides and scents?
Sorry, hold on. Sam, I love you.
And hate me at equal levels.
No, I love the way you said that.
Thank you.
Continuing. Sense?
Yeah, tides and scents.
Tides and sense. Detect, intuit, and react. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Okay. I don't have a lot of face skills. Hey, 6.
Hey, 3 4.
It's enough.
You know your weaponry. You know where it comes from, where things are sources from. You know where to get good weaponry. I mean, you got a harpoon. That's
Right. I brought a harpoon with us.
Yeah. You know that this comes from Wishmaker's Isle directly. Like this was crafted here.
Okay.
And it was made. And as you're like you're looking at this knife and you notice very, very minute, just at the base of the hilt where the metal starts, there's this, it's been insigniaed with like a press. And it's NB. And you know, because you've been around the race for a while, you know that NB, especially when it concerns the Wishmakers, stands for Nile Blaze.
Nile Blaze.
Which was the name of the captain that became the second Wishmaker. Before he became the second Wishmaker.
Got it.
So this is one special knife. And you know that the second Wishmaker has a thing for theatrics. And so you kind of put together in your head that this knife was probably wished into existence by this dude. And the fact that it looks so ordinary is very strange.
Got it.
Because you hear a cannon go off. And you know, like that cannon looks like a circus cannon.
Right.
It's very theatrical.
Right.
This knife looks so normal.
Right.
And if the second Wishmaker made this, why does it look normal?
Right.
This is just out of character. I love that you're looking at wondering, like, why is this so normal? And we've seen it used once, and it literally dusted someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm caught between two things. It's either he created the knife to give to her,
Or the knife.
so that she is an agent of his indirectly,
Yeah.
or that he did not create his knife and it is that old.
These are the questions.
These are the questions.
You have that information. You can take it wherever you want.
Is there anybody around who's been? I mean, age is a weird thing in the Wildsea, right?
It is.
Are there any crewmen or captains that have been sailing nearly that long?
I mean, you can think of one.
Yeah. Should we go find her?
If that's what you want to do. All right.
Let's go find her.
I'll leave you to go find Plucky Pat. I'm going to hop back over to Cybin. I'm going to hop to Cybin. Cybin, you're tripping out in your room. Does anything else happen? I feel like you've had a very nice trip. I think maybe a few hours have passed. The spores have settled down. And you guys are coming out of it. And she looks a lot more relaxed. She feels a lot more peace. The visuals that you were seeing have disappeared, like kind of back inside. And she's sitting with you and she's saying, thank you. That actually helped a lot.
I always want to help those on my crew.
I know you do, Simon. And that's part of the reason why I came to you. is because you are so good-natured. And I really appreciate you taking the time to help me here. It means a lot. I'm sorry that I...
Murdered someone on my boat? Yes.
Well, that person needed to be murdered, and I'm not sorry about that.
Oh.
That person was actively trying to sabotage your ship. You shouldn't even really consider them as a person, because it was a figment of the Wishmaker's imagination, as am I. If that wasn't clear. Is that too heavy?
Arguments could be made that we're all figments of different imaginations.
You're right. And everybody goes,
doesn't make you any less worthy of life.
The people who tripped at the same time the podcast started are now like,
man.
what?
If you're listening to this and that really hit hard, I need you to make an instinct and sense roll.
It's a 4 and a 1. Did you get a 6?
5 and a 4.
Oh,
No.
fuck, it's a conflict.
Oh, no.
You're pretty sure you're real, but jury's still out.
I hate this.
I hate this.
He got a 6, he's good.
He's real.
Dylan's real.
He's imagining us.
All right. Settle down. She goes, yeah, I agree. I think you're right. But, like, the Wishmakers really have it out for the captains. And...
I need to protect Luca, then.
yeah, you should protect Luca. You should protect everyone. I'm not asking you to save all the sailors. Most of them don't need to be saved. Some of them do.
Half of them may already be gone.
Yeah. I need to tell you that I have a very important piece of information that I need to share with you.
I'd get close to their face and, like, all my anemone vines ready to catch if a whisper escapes.
And she kind of looks around, and you catch a glimpse of a smile. This girl hasn't smiled at all, but you catch one as just kind of like a, you couldn't if you tried. Like, that's the laugh. And she goes, I appreciate it, but I can't, I don't want to say it without risking it getting out. I really need you to help me fix this. It's on the verge. And she, again, you feel that, like, that the ache and the pain within her of just kind of like, she needs to say something, but she can't.
I think he'll go to just hug. Like, all the anemone vines, oddly warm.
When you go to make contact with this person, you feel her jump, like freeze up, like someone touching a hot oven or like a hot stovetop. And normally this would be like a big no-no. Like, you see her kind of get ready to fight, but her emotions are relaxed because you guys just shared a very intimate moment. And so you feel her tense up, but she lets you approach, and like your tendrils make contact with her, and you get this power. Like, you suddenly, something jumps out of you, and something jumps out of her. You lose a whisper.
Okay. I haven't always been the captain.
I haven't always been the captain. You lose that whisper.
You've always been the captain is gone.
And then you gain a whisper in return. And this whisper is going to be the Wellsprings.
The Wellsprings?
The Wellsprings.
Can I roll something to know about the Wellsprings if it's a location?
Before you do, she looks shocked at you. Her eyes widen and go, you know that's an issue.
Larger things have tried to kill us. And I pet the wall of Morca.
You don't understand. And she is about to tell you more, but she stops herself because you can see the energy sort of...
This is Ariel's voice coming out and sucking back.
Yeah. Please help me resolve this and disconnect so I can tell you more, because you need to know more as soon as you can. Everyone's in great danger. Please.
I will help you.
Sooner rather than later.
I'm not great with humans, but you're not one. Ardent? I'm not great with ardent, but you're not
That's
one.
fine. That's what it is. Yeah, she's an ardent. And then, yeah, you guys just kind of resolve. I think she turns away and she starts complaining, I just need some time to really think about this. And she asks you politely to leave.
Get your citrus. And I leave.
Perfect. I want to head back over to Dylan for story reasons. I want to end on you.
Okay.
So you have this information about this dagger. You are walking around the docks, and you go up to this ship. It's docked very close to the Morca, because Morca's number 50. Plucky Patty's number 1.
It's almost
Yeah, it's a full circle.
Got it.
So you go over, and this ship is... It's a rustic looking, more traditional ship. It's got the sails. It's made of wood, but it also has like these really ancient looking accoutrements of sailing the Wildsea that kind of like the foragers of the Wildsea who built these ships used. So like when people first started sailing the Wildsea, they would use these very rudimentary, like instead of chainsaws, like grabbers, pullers that kind of look like chainsaws, but instead of the sharp blades that kind of pull through, it's just like these long metal spokes that just kind of like non-destructively pull against it.
Okay.
Moves a little bit slower, but it's been well maintained. And then the sails and the protections are all there. This ship is called the Ideal. You see Plucky Patty kind of finishing up loading the last of her cargo. It's this very elderly looking Ardent with bleached white hair and this fantastic looking blue hat, like baby blue hat. And she's got like, imagine very Quaker Oats style kind of clothing.
Okay.
But loose and ripped with a lot of like pearls and jewelry hanging off.
Gotcha.
Is she loading this herself?
No, she's instructing crew, and her crew looks young, spry, and very well behaved. These people are very glad to be serving Plucky Patty.
Yeah, they better be.
But she says, "All right, just put that one over there. Excellent job, Georgie. You're doing fantastic. All right." And she turns to you. She's just dictating.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Oh, Reverend Rise. I was wondering when you were going to come to talk to me."
I didn't realize I was in a expected position.
"Oh, you best believe that you are, especially by me." She kind of says, "Oh, no, I'm just kidding with you. You've made quite a ruckus on the dock. People are talking about how Ascension's going to be saving the world."
At least we're trying. I don't want to bring up hopes that I couldn't deliver upon.
She leans closer and says, "I think you are.
Maybe.
But from what I know, I don't think Ascension fully agrees with you." She gives you a very snarky smile.
What gave it away? Was it the lack of an Ascension ship? The fact that I'm the only one wearing the colors around here?
I know Lady has her secrets, Rise. I admire your courage for coming down and standing out against Ascension. I would love to help you in any kind of way. I think it'd be worthy for us to be allies.
I do as well.
I share the same sentiment.
Maybe we can take this conversation into a place with less ears.
Please, yes, come aboard. Into my captain's chambers. She escorts you on, and she walks you down into her galley, into the captain's quarters at the back of the ship. It is not ornate. Like, imagine Captain Hook's galley space, like with captain's quarters. But imagine it stripped down to the bare bones. Imagine it just, all the space is there, but there's a lot of books. There's a lot of bookshelves. But nothing, no ornate rugs, nothing comfortable. It's probably just like a few light fixtures, a table for mapping it out, and just a cot. Like a hammock. Just like the crew sleeps in. She doesn't put herself above anything, which is remarkable for a woman of her age.
Try not to feel superior that hers doesn't have nearly as many sphincters as ours.
It lacks sphincters in a hard kind of way.
Damn it.
She brings you in, she closes the door behind you and says, "All right, Raj, no one's listening here. What would you like to discuss?"
Have you, gotten one of these wish keeper people on your ship?
Yes, we have. We've put her to work immediately.
What is she doing exactly?
She's hauling boxes, but she's very bad at it.
Right. I didn't think you were going to actually give her physical labor.
Oh, no. Nobody on my ship gets off without a free meal.
Oh,
No
that's
matter
good.
what they say.
Yeah.
We're putting her to work, but she does seem very inept.
Yeah. Listen. I don't know if they, hold the most sound of intentions. Do you know anything else about him?
Sound intentions. I mean, I don't know. This race has never been a good race.
No.
I know that whenever the Wishmakers try to interfere, it's never been a good thing. I mean, Teenwa and all that.
That's true.
Hiring out those rat bastards every year to try to sabotage the race for the last, fill in number here, years.
Somebody ought to sabotage them.
That's what I've been saying this whole time.
They're officially in the race,
I
right?
hate that crew. Yes, they're partially part of the race. They weren't hired out this time. Those smug bastards.
If only I had somebody who knew that ship inside and out, maybe we could get on there and cause a little havoc.
Are you implying that you do?
I might have an idea. But anyway, you're correct. Whenever the Wishmakers do get themselves involved, it's never really a good thing, and I can't help but feel that these creations of theirs,
Yes.
the vibe's off.
The vibe is off. Go ahead and roll. Get some
check.
insight.
Sure.
Yeah, get a vibe check on Pluggy Patty.
Insight.
Build a pool.
Build a pool. Can I see the list of the
Yes.
the things really
I
quick?
do need you to know that I will implicitly trust Plucky Patty.
Yeah, I love
no
Plucky-
matter what.
I love
Yeah.
Plucky Patty so much, and I really do feel bad for when we get her killed, but
It'll be worth it.
Nah, she's
I'm
so old.
really
The starting pistol's gonna get her killed.
yeah, if you aim it at her.
Sense makes sense.
Sense? Yeah, I think sense is good.
Yeah, sense of sense.
And then what about iron?
I don't think you're trying to brute her.
No, it's more like a
You're stink eyeing her
really
down.
trying to like get to the meat of it.
Iron. For force, determination, willpower. I mean, you're trying to, if you're going to use force, I would have to cut for difficulty because it sounds like you're trying to like use your presence as a way to get a read on her.
Got it. That's not exactly what I want to do.
Okay.
Okay.
What
I mean,
what do you
I
think?
could tides and sense, which tides explore lore, but I don't know if.
Tides is exploration, learning, and lore. I think tides would be better.
Okay.
Learning. I think, you know what? It's going to be a cut no matter what.
Okay.
I'm telling you to make a roll, and I'm telling you this is going to be cut.
Cool. Great. We'll call it tide sense, and I'll make it a cut.
Okay.
4.
4. Conflict.
5. Well, I mean,
Yeah, 5 is cut, so it's a 4.
All right, so 4, it is a conflict. You see, she's listening to everything you're saying about these whisper makers. And you get the impression that there's some unease talking about it, talking about the whisper makers specifically. But she catches you looking at her. And she says, you know, when I race, or used to race, and this being my first time back in a long while,
And welcome back, by the way.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I've never won. I've never won this race, and I've always tried to play fair. I've always tried to be the best that I can, but I've never gotten to get a wish for myself. And I know that for an old lady like me, that could be disheartening. But it's such a nice thing to see so many people rallied around me wanting to win. It's heartbreaking to me because I'm just a normal person like anyone else, and the weight of all this is a lot. And so when the Wishmakers do something like this, they start calling it the final race, when they start giving us imaginations of their own on this race, it feels weird. But really, Rise, I want to ask you, how do you feel about all this? Because as a winner of one of these races, you know what it takes to win. You were ruthless once on your rise on the waves. You've known what the Wishmakers do, either implicitly or indirectly, to try to make it sure that the average folk like us don't have their power. And why they want you to squirm rather than just giving us like this, it makes me all uncomfortable. And so having a person like this isn't out of the ordinary, but why come to me to bring it up?
Well, yeah, it circles back to one of your points. You've been around really long. You've done this probably more times than most people have even dreamed about doing this. And
You pull out the knife and
pull out the knife, stick it in the table.
Yeah.
Stick it in her leg.
Stick it in my own leg. I think you might be the best person to ask the question of, what do you know about Niles Blaze?
Ooh. Niles Blaze. I haven't heard that name in a long time. She looks at the knife, and she just looks at it, and she's like she's reading a book. And she says, he is determined. He was someone with a lot of drive and an understanding of what it takes to be out on the waves. It had always been very tricky. The fact that someone would ever wish themselves to be a wishmaker has always left me sitting uneasy. But I understand the power. I mean, Niles, I think, no longer exists because of the power that has gone to his head, from what I know, the stories that I've heard.
What if he does exist? What if somewhere in there he's pulling out a string?
If Niles, the Niles that I knew, had the power of a wishmaker, he would be up to something.
Good or bad?
Good for him. Not so good for the rest of us. Could be. I don't know.
Okay.
Where'd you find this?
Are we allies?
I would like to think that we are.
Something's going on. Our whisper maker was stabbed by this knife from the hands of a different whisper maker. Much more alert, sentient even. Seems to think that whatever's happening here with them all, it's dangerous. Because that's what they're doing. Is they're making whispers. And they're going to people who don't benefit us. So I don't know. It's an interesting turn of events for us and our crew, but the person seemed genuine, if you can call it a person.
They told you all that?
They told us only what they could. Again, they make the whispers. Anything they say is liable to go out to anybody else.
Huh. And they had that knife.
Yeah, which is why I'm thinking maybe Niles is in play.
Interesting. I think that's information best kept between you and me. Who else knows of this?
No one. Patty, you've always been somebody I can look up to and trust. But one of the things that kept me alive is knowing that at any point, that can all change. And my biggest bit of advice to you, your normality is what makes you unique.
She cocks her head and considers it. Huh. You have a lot of brass to come down from that rock of yours.
Yeah, I'm actually rather surprised. I've been receiving a bit warmer of a welcome than I expected.
A lot of people look up to those folks. But
Well, a lot of people really hate those folks, too.
the people who are in the know what they're about. I've never had any respect for Ascension. I've got to say that. But I understand that people clung to them because it gets them off the ground. But I respect that you're coming down.
Couldn't sit idle. Always got to keep moving.
But I do understand that your flock is tight. And I understand what keeps a sailor alive on these seas. So, with that said, I trust you and you trust me. We don't hurt one another. We help one another.
You have a deal.
She reaches out, shakes her hand.
Shakes hands.
Excellent. And she said, keep that. I don't want to be caught with that.
Yeah, suppose you wouldn't.
But yeah, keep that on the down low. I'll looking at my sources, see if I can find anything out. It's very good to know that Naya might be up to something. After all, it is the last race. She puts her hands up in quotation marks.
Yeah.
Very good to know. All right, I gotta get back to work. Safe sailing to you.
May the seas be in your favor.
Yeah, they always are. And she walks out, and you walk off the ship. So with all that said, I'm going to cut back to Luca. Luca, you are clinging onto the tree here. And it's darkness. You hear things moving behind you that aren't people.
Morca?
Morca's long gone. High above you. What do you try to do?
At this point, the only thing I can really think to do is I'm trying to climb up the tree. And just because all I know is up is safe, down is not safe.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to climb as best I can, as far up as I can.
You start climbing this tree. And as you climb, you find a nook. There's a nook in this tree that you're able to just kind of climb into. It's as if somebody carved a giant room on the side of a tree.
Oh, good.
You go in, and inside, it's very, very simple. It's like somebody's, again, carved out this space, but carved into it is like a bed and a small desk.
So it's not just like a hole in the tree. It's like someone meant to live here.
Yeah, somebody meant to live here. It's been purposely carved out.
Whoa. Hello? And I'm just going to kind of move around the room, check everything.
Yeah.
Just take in what I can. See.
There's no response. You look around. You're looking around in the darkness, and you see there's this parchment sitting on the bed, the makeshift bed. And you look it up, you pick it up, and you see it's this drawing, like a child's drawing, with like waxes and charcoal. And you see on it, on this image, there's this figure, crude figure wearing robes, kind of standing against this giant makeshift sun. And you see like lots of green at the bottom. And then you see similar people with like these gray robes and these like round white heads, kind of standing like almost like hands raised to the person standing in the sun.
Ooh. Just kind of fold it and stuff it into my jacket. It's my first instinct.
Young man, a voice comes out behind you. That's not yours.
Poo pee pee.
And you turn around and you see who wasn't there before, standing in a black robe, gray, dusty, this dark-skinned ardent with tattoos across their face of the stars, insignias, in pale white ink, look down at you with a very gracious smile, and you recognize him as the original Wishmaker. And that's where we'll end the session.
Bad place to shit yourself.
Thank you for listening. Check us out online at roleplaygamepod.com, where you can find links to our socials and all of our other episodes. Please consider supporting us at patreon.com/RPGPOD. Again, that's roleplaygamepod.com and patreon.com/RPGPOD. Thank you again for listening.